Let us talk for a brief moment about I/O and modules. Input-output. So you have a print statement in Python. You can print whatever you want. So if you give it a list of arguments, they will be printed out, converting each argument to a string that can be somewhat readable, with the spaces inserted among the arguments. You also have format statements. Okay, so if you write a string that contains open and close brace, you can use the dot format function to specify values that go to fill these sort of holes that you have left in the string. For example, you can say I have whole chicken, and then in the format you specify 3, or you can leave 2 holes as in this other string and give 2 values, and this will all work. You also have the ability to specify format in which to output strings or especially floating point numbers. For example, you can say the format is I want 2 digits after the comma. I mean after the decimal dot. A gazillion is less than a bazillion, and I format this number. Okay, and you see that I retained exactly 2 digits after the decimal point. I can also do file input-output. I can open a file in read, if I put an R here, or in this case in the write mode. So I open the file and I call it f once it's open, and I say f.write hello. This will write hello to a file. This with statement, by the way, is a context manager statement. It works in this way. When you enter the with, it executes whatever expression you have here and assigns the value to the variable. In this case, it opens a file and assigns the file to f. When you get out of the scope of the with statement, you will run a finalizer over f, which will close the file. So that in practice, you use these to open a file and be sure that you close it once you're done using it. A common mistake would be otherwise to open it and forget to close it. Okay, so that this context manager is something I recommend using whenever you open a file, among other cases. So we can also read from the file. Okay, so once you write to it, we can read. Okay, and if you call the read method, this will read the file in a single blow all at once and put its content into a big string. In this case, it's a small string, but it's the entire file. We can also have the ability to iterate over the file, in which case you are essentially reading one line at a time. Okay. There are also ways to read a prescribed number of characters from a file, and etc. etc. So you can read in the Python documentation all the file access methods if you need to know about them. Modules. When you need to add functionality to Python, you can call extra code that has been defined by you or by other people as part of libraries. And so to do that, you need to import the module. You import the math module, for instance, and after which you can use the functions that are defined in it. For example, you can say math.square root of 3, and this will give you the square root of 3. Okay. You can also import directly individual functions. For example, I can say from math import square root as square root. You can import it and also rename it, and now I can say square root of 2 in extensive wording, and this also works. So one of the beautiful things about Python is that it has a very extensive standard library of modules that enables you to easily do a very large number of things, from fetching pages over the internet, to formatting files, to running numerical computations, you name it. And so I highly recommend that you take a look at the standard library of Python and you try to remember at least what are the various categories of capabilities that Python provides for you.